Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first meeting of Inner Peace Pathways Book Club. I'm so excited to share all the things that I've learned today. Like I've said in the post that I made, I've read this book, but I never implemented it. And so I invited as many people who wanted to come and participate with me during this journey. I'm really excited to get started. I have known and followed the Ortners for quite some time now and have listened to Jessica in her own weight loss journey. So I'm really excited to get to do this book with you. I'm going to have you put your questions and comments in the chat, and I will get to the questions at the end of this presentation. So let's get started. And if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and we'll do a Q&A at the end. And the Q&A will not be recorded so that everybody can speak freely. And if they have any privacy concerns or anything like that, then we'll be able to talk together about it. So I've got quite a few slides to get through. Originally, I told you to read the foreword and the introduction and chapter 1. And that isn't quite how this worked out. So we're going to talk about the foreword, the introduction, and chapters 1, 2, and 3. And then what I'd like to do is to have you practice this next week with everything that we've learned. On my website, I've put in physical copies that you can download, and this video will be there as well, so you can check back, but also a written summary of this presentation will be there as well, so that you can find everything pretty easily. If you don't have, if you can't find something or don't know what to do, feel free to message me in the website at deborahldall.com. You can just comment there and I will see them, or you can send me an email at innerpeacepathways@gmail.com. So let's get started. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be fun, but it's also going to be emotional, because we're going to be addressing all of the heavy emotions that we carry behind what causes us to learn to gain weight. So part 1 is preparing for the journey. I put this QR code here because this is something that you can scan for free tapping meditations. The Ortners have this fabulous app, and you can carry it around with you wherever you go. Some of it's free and some of it's paid. They have a paid section, and you're welcome to sign up for that, but also use the free part of it until you figure out if it really is going to work for you. So the foreword is written by by a doctor. Oh gosh, what is her name? Christiane Northrup. That's right. And her background is, it says in her foreword, but let's see. see. Let me look here. Oh my gosh, I know I read this, what her background is. But she's a psychologist, and she works with people, helping them with their emotional issues. So, but she also struggled with her own weight loss. So she says, when I first received Jessica's book, I was skeptical that this program or tapping would do anything for me or my body. Reading through it, however, I was immediately struck by the research showing that tapping decreases cortisol levels. That's right, the very stress hormone that leads to weight gain is decreased simply by tapping. And she says this was a revelation to her. So she decided to try Jessica's program in spite of her skepticism, and she was amazed at how quickly it transformed her and her body. Even when you eat very little and exercise a lot, diets don't necessarily work. I've tried them. You're likely to have tried them as well. Many will create some quick results, but they're always unsustainable, and they take you further away from what your body is trying to tell you. So this book, pure and simple, works. Try a little tapping. You have nothing to lose except maybe a few pounds. So early on in my journey from healing from betrayal trauma, I came across EFT, or emotion freedom technique as it's known, or tapping. I came across it early on. It was actually something that just popped up in my feed on YouTube. Brad Yates on YouTube has hundreds of tapping videos. And the tapping videos that were showing up in my YouTube feed addressed anxiety, depression, anger, all of the emotions that I was feeling because of my trauma. And so I started tapping on them, and it was interesting to me how quickly I felt better. So I know that it works for releasing emotions. I've never tried it with this way. And after reading Jessica's book, I'm excited to get started. I've even decided we're going to start this today. So well, let's just go on. So Jessica says that losing weight has become a cultural obsession, made apparent by the fact that weight loss has grown into a billion-dollar industry. I would say it's probably a multi-billion-dollar industry by now. My guess is that if you pick up this book, it probably isn't the first time you've paid for something to help you lose weight. And for me, that is so true. I've tried all sorts of things. But she asks, why does nothing seem to work? Why, when you have such a strong desire to lose weight, do your many attempts to shed the weight for good fall short? There is clearly something missing, some hidden key to having the body that you can feel proud of, but what is it? She got my attention with this introduction. So part of her story is in the book, and I won't, her story is in the book. She has YouTube videos about it that you can go and search up and let her tell you herself. But when I read this part in the forward and introduction in the book, it really affected me quite deeply because I could relate to it. She says, when I was first asked to write this book, I sat on my kitchen floor and sobbed. I felt panicked by the idea of sharing my journey in such a public way. I also didn't want to be seen as part of the weight loss industry. which is fair. The reason I eventually agreed to write it was that I know that what I wanted to share wasn't what you find in the standard weight loss book. I don't believe in dieting. I have no exercise plan for you to follow. Instead, I want to take women through the same journey of self-discovery and exploration I took. This really hit hard with me because this is really at the core of my own mission in helping women heal from betrayal trauma. So let's keep going. She has all these quotes, and so I put them in the presentation because I thought they were all so good. The only journey is the one within, and that is so true. We have to get in touch with ourselves. Something that we lack in our culture. Other cultures, especially the Asian cultures, they grew up with this, and we're never taught how to deal with our emotions or how to understand our feelings and what they mean, or how to release them and let them go. And so this really is the journey of a lifetime. It has been for me in my recovery process. So chapter 1, how tapping helps you lose weight. So yeah, this is going to help anyone understand what makes this book special and why it's something everyone should read and know about. So in this chapter, we're going to talk about tapping and weight loss, your body's weight gain cocktail, how tapping lowers your stress, a groundbreaking discovery, retraining your brain, and why tap when you just want to lose weight now. And then how anyone can lose weight with tapping. So let's keep going. Before we go any farther, I want to check. And make sure, no, we're good. So, yeah. Tapping and weight loss. So there have been studies by clinical psychologists in Queensland, Australia, on the impact of food cravings and weight loss. And there were 89 women in this study whose BMI all qualified them, body mass index, all qualified them as obese. So over 8 weeks, they completed 2 hours of tapping a week. And I want you to listen to this and pay attention to it, because you're not going to have to spend a lot of time doing this. Obviously, the more time that you spend doing it, the better it will be for you. But yeah, 8 weeks, 15 minutes a day, 2 hours a week. By doing the tapping without a diet and exercise, the participants lost an average of 16 pounds by the end of the study. Wow, that is just amazing. Can you imagine doing this for 8 weeks, 2 months, and just losing 16 pounds without really changing anything? And I believe that is true. I mean, just what I know from EFT, I believe that this is true. So why does our body gain weight? And why are so many people in America overweight? There has to be a reason for it. Our diets haven't been the best. We're seeing all sorts of things come out now about the things that they put in our food. And I'm sure that all of that contributes to it. But it's more than just that. We live in a stressful society. So let's talk about what our body does, what it goes through when it feels stress. So the fight or flight response prepares us for danger. This is something that is innate in all of us. And whenever we sense danger of any kind, and can I just say, so like I said, I'm going to throw some things in here that aren't necessarily in Jessica's book, but there's things that I learned that will help you kind of figure this out a little bit more. We are hardwired for this stress response, and anything can set it off. And here's the thing that's interesting. Your mind cannot tell the difference between a memory of something that happened that was stressful or a real event. And it also can't tell the difference between whether you're experiencing an event on television or in the movies or experiencing it for yourself. So you'll get a stress response just by watching a TV show or remembering a fight that you had with someone, or any number of things that can come up in our memories. And then plus the things that we experience, being late for work and all of these things bring up the stress response. And it takes very little. I think Jessica talks about this later, but when you have that threat, all of your body's defenses are activated. Your adrenaline levels increase, your muscles tighten, your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, your blood sugars all rise. Everything is on high alert. And because digestion isn't something that saves your life, it decreases. So your digestion slows down, your metabolism slows down. And this causes you, after the event has passed, this causes you to feel hungry and eating more than we're needed because we're so flooded with all of these emotions. So even if you're exercising and eating right and you're staying on your diet and exercise program, any stress can disrupt any of your weight loss efforts. So when I learned this, I thought, so why do I bother? Like, if I do all of these things, it's not going to matter. It's not going to make a difference, not in the long run. And you see that happen when you've done diet and exercise programs. And then if you're like me, what happens afterwards? I even did a program and I was so good, and I ate pre-planned meals and I exercised every day. I lost all of the weight and I was the thinnest I've been in decades. And that was the point when I learned of my husband's affairs. So I stopped all of that diet and exercise, like I couldn't do any of it. And I was still not eating a lot because that's the habit I had been in for months and months. But guess what? It all came back. It all came back and then some. So that's discouraging when you spend all of that time and money losing the weight, and then it just, you stop and it all comes right back. So I don't want this to sound depressing. Like I probably triggered everybody into having a stress response just listening to all of that, but there's hope. So we're going to talk about how tapping lowers your stress and helps keep it low so that you can then, whatever you're doing will, it'll give it a boost, or you don't have to really do much of anything. So Dr. Dawson Church is sort of the pioneer of tapping in this country. He founded an organization called EFT University, and he teaches other people how to become EFT practitioners. Full disclosure, I am an EFT practitioner, so I have studied this quite a bit myself. But Dr. Dawson Church has now done over, I believe, 100 or more. The last time I checked, it was like closing in on 150 randomized, peer-reviewed scientific medical research on EFT and the effects on the body. So he knows all about it and what to do about it. A lot of us who are in the EFT community follow him and listen to what he has to say, because he knows what he's talking about. If you ever get a chance to go and see him in person or listen to him, I would definitely do that. Plus, he has the best laugh. It really is. He sounds like Santa Claus. But he set out to focus on the changes in cortisol levels and the psychology symptoms in 83 subjects. This is just one of his hundreds of research pieces. One group had an hour of talk therapy, just that. Group 2 had 1 hour of tapping, just that, no talk therapy. And the third group had no treatment. The control group and the therapy group showed a 14% drop in cortisol levels. So the control group would be the one that received no treatment. I can talk about a little bit about why this is so, why the control group would also drop in cortisol levels. We'll see if I have time to do that a little bit later. But the talk therapy group also dropped 14%, and the tapping group showed a 24% drop in cortisol, with some dropping as high as 50%. And this study supported another study conducted by Harvard Medical School. So this emerging field of study is known as energy psychology, and it's becoming quite mainstream. Tapping used to be thought to be woo-woo or kind of crazy, but now lots of different people are using it. One of the things that Dr. Dawson Church has had great success with is helping veterans with PTSD. So let's keep going. So here's kind of how EFT got started. There's more in the book. We're just kind of going over the basics, but anything that you are interested in knowing more about, just drop a comment in the chat and I will answer it for you. So in 1979, Dr. Roger Callahan experienced a major breakthrough using tapping with a patient. He discovered that using the body's meridian points, which are based in ancient Chinese medicine, practice known as acupuncture, these meridians are channels where the energy flows through the body and carries our life force energy, known as qi, to all the various organs and systems throughout the body. And these channels run up and down both sides of the body and can be accessed by specific locations on the body's surface called meridian endpoints. Tapping on these endpoints increases or balances energy flow within specific meridians. One of the things that I find so fascinating about this is that, did you know, like countries like Japan and China and all of the Asian countries have known about this for 5,000 years. It's nothing new to them, and it's the Western um, medicine is just now catching up with this. When I found out about all of this and thought that it was so crazy, when I started to learn the science behind it, I got really excited because this is nothing new. Um, a lot of our medical system right now has tried to keep this under wraps, and they've made it look like it's not valid, so that we wouldn't try it, because guess what? It actually helps. It actually heals. So let me do this really quick. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I prepared a handout today for you about the 12 major meridians, and I'm just going to show you a little bit about them. I talk about what they are. The lung meridian, where it is, so it controls the energy that and consumes and impacts the respiratory system. It starts in front of the shoulder and runs down the top edge of the inner arm and ends at the thumb. The lung meridian is second only to the heart meridian among the 12 principal meridians. It is called the prime minister and assists with controlling energy and circulating blood. The lungs and the heart are seen to work in conjunction with blood and energy, and these are complementary parts of our living system. So I don't know if you know this, but some of our blood cells are actually produced in the lungs. And this connection has led the lungs to also be called the priest or the minister of heaven. And the lungs also control skin and perspiration. This meridian generates what's known as radiant energy and puts the lungs in the front line for fighting external diseases. The lungs also connect the mind to the body through breathing. Qigong is designated to strengthen and this bond and focus on the lung meridian. So if you do a practice of Tai Chi or Qigong, this is what that's for. Imbalances in the lung meridians can cause upper respiratory infection, breathing dysfunction, skin problems. An imbalance can also cause despair and anxiety. So one of the things that I wanted to tell you about this that I just thought of is lungs carry grief. When the emotion of grief gets stuck in the body, it's usually in the lungs. And this first came to my attention from Dr. Bradley Nelson, who developed the program called Motion Code. And in that book, he talks about Christopher Reeves and his accident that left him, bound to a wheelchair, and how his wife Dana had taken care of him his entire life. And after he passed, she developed lung cancer, even though she'd never smoked a day in her life. And Dr. Nelson believes it's because of grief, that right there. That she had just experienced so much grief in her life that was just too much for her. So in this handout, I've gone through each meridian and the common stuck emotions associated with those meridians. Each of these talk about where they're located, how you find them, what they're a part of. And incidentally, I'm going to close this now since we've already looked at it. It will be on the website in the list of handouts. So interestingly enough, the EFT tapping points hit all of the major meridians, and that's why it's so effective, because it allows this life force energy to keep flowing. And when you can get the life force energy to flow, that's when you can release the motions and let them out. One thing I have to tell you is emotions are released through regular bodily functions. So sighing, crying, burping, gastrointestinal issues, having diarrhea or farting or any of those things, sweating, are ways that we get rid of the emotions. If you do those things with intention, you will find that it's pretty amazing. And don't be surprised if your tapping sessions cause you to yawn. Most of mine do. So what we're doing with EFT is retraining the brain. So to understand why tapping works so well, it's important to understand the limbic brain response. So your limbic brain is also known as your emotional brain or your reptilian brain. It goes by all of those different names, but it is a response that is located in the amygdala, where the fight or flight hormones are released when we sense danger. So the same response that triggers for all sorts of things, the stress response, including your stress that you feel around food, everything from cravings to diet to exercise, because the brain may have been trained to associate all of those things with stress. I know it is for me. I feel a lot of stress whenever I start a new diet or exercise program, because I feel like I failed so many times that anytime I start it new, I'm just set up for failure. So, and that sounds defeatist, but it's a trained trigger response associated in the amygdala. So because EFT quickly halts the fight or flight response and lowers your cortisol level, you're able to change how your brain reacts to stress. This is so exciting to me, because when I learned I could train my brain not to react the same way, it was a miracle. So scientific research shows that the brain can be trained to stop the limbic response in its tracks. The scientific word for this is neuroplasticity, and you can look that up. You're going to learn a lot through this whole process. Neuroplasticity shows that the brain's neural pathways can be altered, and we can literally train the brain to react differently to stress. So exciting. So exciting. So a lot of people want to know, how quickly can I lose weight? And that's the question I wanted to know. The short answer, and I can hear lots of people going, oh, like right now, but don't. It's fine. The short answer is everyone loses at their own pace. And this is true. Many people lose weight within the first week. When we start releasing stress through EFT, along with the pressure that we put on ourselves surrounding weight loss, we can become obsessed with the results. And this can be self-sabotaging and counterproductive. But when we look at this with the right focus, it can become a pleasure. just to feel better about ourselves. The weight loss then becomes a happy side effect. The best part of tapping is that it works on a myriad of ails like headaches, backaches, insomnia, physical pain, negative emotions, among a thousand other things. So the benefits are literally endless. So try tapping anytime you want to feel better, literally about anything, and the weight loss will appear when your stress decreases. I think this gets mentioned later. If not, I'll try to remember to come back to it. But this is going to be a lot like peeling back an onion. You're going to start and feel like nothing's really happening. And then all of a sudden, you'll hit an aha moment where it's like, oh, this really is working. For me, since I've done so much tapping, I'm hoping that my response will be fairly soon, but I'm also not going to give up if it's not, because I know it's going to work. And I know that there's lots of layers to my stress. So the science around EFT is impressive and compelling. Hundreds of peer-reviewed studies have proved it. But the real evidence is in the personal stories with Jessica and her clients. I encourage you to read those personal stories in the book. They're pretty amazing. If you need more evidence, I'll also put the link to Dr. Church's research. I've already put the link to the research that the Ortners have done. It's already there, so you can start looking at that too. But when Jessica began this journey, she was a huge skeptic. She says she's still amazed at how well it works. I can echo that sentiment 100%. Whenever I do tapping for me or for my clients, I am shocked and amazed at how much that it works, and how quickly that it works. So we're almost all skeptical at first. I was, but I was also at a place in my life where I actually felt so traumatized and was in such a bad place that I asked God to get me out of it. And I made a promise. I promised him that I would do whatever he put in front of me, whatever it took. And EFT was one of those things that he placed in front of me. And like I said, it just popped up on my YouTube channel one day. And not only did it just pop up one day, but it kept popping up like over and over and over. And it was sort of like after the third or fourth time, it's like, okay, I'll try it. I tried it without even knowing anything about it, and it helped me almost immediately. So yeah, we're all skeptical at first. Often EFT works even if you don't believe in it, which I found, and this is one of the things I learned in my own training, is that you don't necessarily have to cognitively believe in it, because the meridians do the work. And yeah, it's not really up to you, which is kind of interesting. So if you don't believe in it to begin with, it can still work for you. So let's get started. Let's try it. So in chapter 2, this is a quick start to a tapping guide. Why, how it works, what you do. And it seems strange, but it's okay. Let's just go with it. Trust me, just go with it. So we're going to talk about all of these things. When you're new to tapping, it's understandable, like I said before, if you think it's weird. I thought it was weird when I first learned about it too. But here's the thing. Most of the time, we can't just think our way out of a thought. And just think about that for a minute. Like most of the time, when you're having negative thoughts, you can't get yourself out of it, usually. A lot of times we end up spiraling, just getting worse and worse. So no matter how intelligent, self-aware, capable we are, or that we think that we are, or that we think we should be able to get rid of an unwelcome thought, you can't, because you feel it throughout your entire body. And the reason for this is when your amygdala starts releasing adrenaline and cortisol, it affects everything in your body, everything, all of your organs, all of your tissues, all of your cells, everything. It gets everywhere. And you can't just think your way out of it. So, but while you're tapping, you're focused on the thought or feeling, and your body starts to relax and send calming signals to the brain, because you're tapping on those meridians and they're starting to send out the good feeling hormones, and that causes you to relax. So tapping is also convenient, it's easy, and it's fast, and you can do it anywhere. So we're going to talk first about pinpointing your tapping target. So choose one thing that's really on your nerves right now. Just one thing, just pick it, write it down. Say, you can ask, what am I frustrated about my weight? I have a really bad headache, or something is really bothering me right now. Write it down. What in my life feels really stressful right now? And then you're going to choose a reminder phrase that's short, a couple of words that remind you of your tapping target, and you'll speak this out loud or in your mind while tapping on the 8 points. So let's, for what could be, what in my life really feels stressful right now? It really felt stressful getting this this program together on time, but not really. So I don't know. Oh, I know one. My daughter-in-law is expecting a baby, and she's having struggles with her pregnancy, and that's stressing me out. We're all stressed out because the baby is still early, and she could come any day now, and so it's stressful. So a reminder phrase, even though I'm stressed out about my daughter-in-law's baby, would be my reminder phrase. Okay, let's keep going. Oops, what did I do? I went back like a lot. Okay, sorry. We're just gonna keep going. There we go. Okay, next one. Now, this is one of the things that I absolutely love about EFT, like love, because it's measurable. You can measure how big your stress is over it. So you're going to give your tapping target a number on a scale of 1 to 10. In the beginning, when you're doing this, I want you to write these things down, because it will be, you can even keep a journal about it, and it will help you see your progress. So SUDS stands for Subjective Units of Distress Scale. And so when you think of this tapping target, what level of distress does it give you? 10 is the most distressed, and 1 is the least amount of distress. So how stressed do I feel about this baby coming early? I would say a 7 or an 8. So I'm going to give it a 7 or 8. Let's keep going. So then you're going to set up a setup statement. So the setup statement, you'll see what the purpose of this is in just a minute. So you're going to say, even though I'm stressed about the baby coming early, I love and accept myself. So you're going to say, even though whatever your target is, and then I love and accept myself. That's the setup statement. So this is a question that comes up a lot. I get this a lot, and it's understandable because I felt like it was disingenuous when I first learned this to say I love and accept myself, because I didn't love and accept myself about most things. So is it important to say that? Yes, it is. And let's go to that page in the book, because Jessica addresses this. So she says, when I teach tapping to a new crowd, I can see the restlessness in the audience as I begin to talk about the setup statement. For many, it feels incredibly uncomfortable and even a bit out there to say I love and accept myself, especially when this is the opposite of how they might be really feeling. I can relate. I used to think that people who said it were either narcissistic or just plain corny. To me, I felt like it was a lie, and that was worse. As soon as I learned the incredible power of this phrase, I started to relax. We've been taught that in order to achieve something, we need to fight for it. Accepting ourselves supposedly means that we surrender to all of our flaws and never change. But it's our inability to accept ourselves that keeps us stuck in place. We're so busy fighting our feelings that we don't really realize that the very act of fighting or trying to ignore negative feelings gives them power over us. That's just so powerful. Yeah. When we don't accept how we feel, we pile on even more emotions. Have you ever been upset at yourself for being upset? Raise your hand. Have you been upset for just being upset? I'm so mad at myself for being mad. I should know better by now than to let him or her trigger me like this. Oh my gosh. I just had an experience like that this week. I was just mad at myself for being mad. When we don't accept how we feel, we keep the emotions stuck in place. And over time, the pile of emotions we're stuck with get bigger and bigger. Loving and accepting ourselves releases us from this pattern and gives us the freedom to choose a more empowered thought. Again and again, I have seen the profound impact of acceptance. It is the first step to true transformation. She says, as my friend Chris Carr says, when we truly embrace acceptance, that's when our body exhales and can begin healing. So true. It's so true. If you're still resistant to this concept, while I always encourage people, she says, to try saying, I love and accept myself. You can also say, I accept how I feel and I'm okay. So if you can't say you love and accept yourself, you can switch it around to make it, I accept how I feel and I'm okay. let's see. You can also counter the emotion you're feeling. You can say, I feel angry, but I choose peace at the end. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you could use the setup statement, even though I'm feeling overwhelmed, I choose to feel calm and confident. So that's the whole, do I need to say I love and accept myself? If you're really struggling with it, like I was, if you'll use these alternate statements until you get used to this a little bit and you get down the road, you're going to be fine. It's going to be fine for you. You're going to be able to say, I love and accept myself. And now when I say it, it's good. I like being able to say I love and accept myself. Self-acceptance is an invitation to stop trying to change yourself into the person you wish to be long enough to find out who you really are. And that's so powerful. A lot of us don't know who we really are because we don't accept ourselves. So we're going to learn to just breath, and it's going to be okay. Step 4 is tapping on the karate chop point. So we have our target point, our target statement. We have the setup statement. Now we are doing the karate chop point, and this is this one right here on the side of your hand, just like if you were gonna karate chop. You're gonna take your other hand. I'm left-handed, so if it's backwards for you, that's fine. Guess what? All these meridians run up and down the body on both sides. So it doesn't matter if you use your right hand or your left hand. Sometimes you can even use both. So we're going to tap here while saying the setup statement 3 times. Even though I'm really stressed about that baby coming early, my grandchild, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm really stressed about the baby coming early, I love and accept myself. Even though I'm really stressed about the baby coming early, I love and accept myself. Okay, that's the first step. See, you've done it. You've already got started. So what is the karate chop point? Dang it. I meant to write this down in here and I didn't. So the karate chop point is what's called, this is the triple warmer. And if you go and look in that workbook, it's going to explain to you what all of that is. But this is waking up our chi, or our life force energy. It's waking it up and getting its attention, basically. So then we're going to go through all of the tapping points. I'm going to take my glasses off to do this. But after the karate chop point, the other tapping points are eyebrow. And the eyebrow is where your eyebrow starts, right here. And I'll just take these off now. And side of eye is on your temple, right there, right beside your eye. And then under the eye, just on the bone, right underneath your eye, and then under the nose, then on your chin, and then your collarbone. And I usually tap on my collarbone with all 5 fingers right here, just like that. Some people use just a couple of fingers. Some people use 3. I like, let's go for broke. Do all 5. And then under the arm, and the one under the arm is just for ladies. It's just where your bra is under your arm. That seam that's usually right there on your bra. Find that and just tap there. Okay. and then the top of your head. So with each tapping point, you're going to tap them 5 to 7 times. So this is where I was going to show you the handout. What are the tapping points? They're on the meridians, and it's in that handout. So go there and look at them. It's going to get all of your life force energy flowing throughout your entire body. So it's going to affect your brain, your blood flow, your digestion, your body's cleaning system with your liver and your kidneys and your spleen. All of those things are gonna get moving, and it's gonna get your emotions moving out as well. So check out the handbook or the handout. So then step 6, oh, here, let's go back because I need to take you through this just so that you can see. So we're gonna tap about how we feel through these 5 points. So even though I'm really stressed about the baby, and you can just repeat this over and over again until you can think of something else that's upsetting you about this situation. So sometimes I'll just go through all of the tapping points saying the exact same thing. So I'm going to do that this time because later on we're going to learn how to make these tapping scripts is what they're called. So even though I'm really stressed about the baby, it's got me really stressed. I'm really stressed that the baby's going to come early. And I'm stressed that she's going to come early and have to spend time in the NICU. And she's got 2 brothers at home. And their family's just going to be up in the air for a while. And this is really stressing me out. I'm not going to love it. It's going to be hard. And it's causing me a lot of stress. And I'm so stressed about it. So that's a round of tapping. And so far, it's all negative. But we're going to learn to go through the positive again later on. I'm taking you through this baby steps, step by step. So the last one is the check-in. So did anything in the energy shift just from that tapping? Like, what thoughts came up for me? How do I feel on a scale of 1 to 10 now? Are things still feeling really intense? Are they the same intensity? You might need to tap a few more rounds using the same language to clear it out altogether. And some things I think I've had to tap through like 5 rounds that have been particularly hard. Most of them don't take that much. But if I were to say on a scale of 1 to 10 now how upset I am, I would say it's probably a 6. So even just that little bit has lowered the temperature. And that's what we're looking for, is to lower the temperature. So after you go through the negative statements, then you're going to do a crossover statement, which switches you to the positive. And so you want to clear out the negative, but you also then want to build in some positivity around the situation so that you don't just leave it empty and hanging there. You want to clear it out and then fill it up with all the good stuff. So you'll switch into a positive statement. And we'll do that in just a minute. This is the peel back the onion thing. So when you're tapping on an emotion, you may find that one emotion brings up another. And this is kind of known as peeling back the onion. So one emotion comes up, other layers of emotion to uncover, and then when an issue has multiplied into multiple layers, you need to address each one in order to fully clear the issue. So it might seem tedious at first, but emotional and physical experiences are often multi-layered. So if you're tapping on one thing at the start of your session and you end up tapping on something completely different, by the end, don't be surprised, because they do tend to reveal another layer. So just be patient with yourself about that. So how do I know which targets to choose on starting my tapping journey? Jessica has this really great little symbol here called the tapping tree. And interestingly enough, you can go to tappingsolutions.com/chapter 2, and you can find a handout of a blank tapping tree. And I have also included it in the files with this lesson. So you can just go there and download it and print it out. These kind of little handouts really help, especially when you're starting something new. Kind of makes it a little bit fun. So she talks about the rest of the book. They're going to tap on all the points of the tapping tree. And while we tend to want to focus on just on losing the weight, sometimes we're going to have to solve other long-term issues in order to get to the root of it. I have a lot of negative issues around my weight. My stepfather was very critical of my body, and like he called me thunder thighs and things when I was a teenager. And looking back on it now, I wish I had I wish I was the size that I was back then, because when I graduated from high school, I only weighed 105 pounds. So I was a really teeny girl, and not anywhere close to being thunder thighs, but gosh, I remember that. So I'm pretty sure that's something I'm going to end up having to tap out. So we have a lot of underlying issues that shape our relationship with ourselves, with our body, with our weight, with the food we eat. Sometimes even just going out to dinner can cause us stress and anxiety. So we're going to tap on a root issue. When we tap on a root issue, we can also clear leaf symptoms. That's the way it happens when you tap around your stress. So you can tap limiting beliefs, events, emotions, symptoms. There's no end to the things that you can tap on. And this is just a question for you to answer in your head. What events in your life, like I was telling you about my stepfather and his obnoxious critique of my body, what events in your life do you think shaped your beliefs about eating? It's really good to think about. So creating your own tapping tree. The connections and insights in the tapping tree are vital to get to the best results with tapping. In the book, we'll revisit the tapping tree again and again. It's also critical that we get specific when we tap. so we can really focus on what's happening. And the best way to do that is to dig deeper. So I want to say right here, right now, dieting and exercise is hard. But it's also hard to face your emotional baggage and unpack that. So I heard from a person before, choose your hard. I can't sit here and tell you this is going to be easy. It's probably going to bring up a lot of stuff. It's probably going to cause tears. In the beginning, it may even cause stress. But tap on that, tap on the stress, tap on the anxiety, tap on the fear. Lots of things will come up for you, and tap on them. Even if you don't think it's related to weight loss, it still is, because it's a stress response, and the stress response is causing your body to hang on to excess weight. So as you go through the process, it might be helpful to create your own tapping tree, and you might have to create several. So print off as many as you need, and the idea is to just get started. So here we go. Is tapping too negative? So this is a question that comes up a lot, and probably will with this as well, because we've only tapped on the negative. So I can say no, it's not too negative, because we're going to switch it out to the positive. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. But we're going to kind of go through chapter 3 here, about ending the pattern of panic. And these are the things that we're going to talk about, and then we'll get to the positive side of tapping. So one of the most frequent roadblocks that women experience is panic. Feeling panicked about our need to lose weight, and to feel good about ourselves, can take many forms and triggers. But the bottom line on this weight loss journey is that we never quite feel skinny enough, which equals to not feeling good enough. Thus, this is a failure everyone can see, because you're overweight, you're fat, you're obese, you're this, you're that. I even had someone make a rude comment on my Facebook page that said, "You're a life coach," and they laughed and laughed and laughed and made fun of my weight. So that was nice. But we feel bad enough about ourselves, and then stupid people come along and say stupid things, and then it just reinforces what we feel. This is a failure everyone can relate to and see, and we enter into a tortured relationship with our weight, and that equals panic. When I first read this in the book, I was kind of like, well, that's interesting that the foundational feeling around weight loss is panic. But as I read through this chapter, I was like, yeah, that it really is. You get panicked, and panic causes stress, and yeah, then the cycle all begins again. So here's two sides of panic. Most of us have been through it all when we finally find ourselves here. The shame, the fear that it won't work, the self-torture, determined to do whatever it takes, like I did with God when I found myself traumatized over betrayal. I'll do whatever it takes. Luckily, it worked out for me then, but it took a while. So no matter how different we experience this, the bottom line is that we all feel panic, that we need to shed the pounds, and we need to do it now. So there's two sides of panic. The first is the fight response around losing weight, which comes on suddenly. And in the fight response, we're desperate to lose weight at any cost. And this is the moment we tell ourselves that we need to panic, because panicking is our last hope. If we aren't panicked, then we're not giving up. And I'm going to do it this time. It's going to happen. I'm going to be so good. I'm not going to cheat. All of the things that we do, that's panic, girls. It really is. It's panic. The next one is defeat. So that is the calm side, and it seems softer, but really it's just as bad, because then we're accepting failure and it looks like we're giving up, that we don't care. And inside, we're deeply disappointed by our failure. We wave the white flag and we say to ourselves, we just don't care anymore. I'm just going to eat whatever I want. I'm going to have all the junk food I want. I'm not going to exercise. I don't care. And we just give up and we feel justified. And this is a lie that we tell ourselves, that we just can't do it. Thing is, we can. We're just in a rut of doing the same thing over and over and over again. And Einstein said that the definition of stupidity is to doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So that's why I'm offering this to everyone, my friends, my family, everyone, because this is something new and it's something different, and it's not accepting defeat. I'm hoping that I'm giving you a lifeline. So what does panic look like? Well, it can look like a lot of things. When we're panicked, we're certain that losing all the weight will solve all of our problems. How many of us have said that? It will fix everything. If I could only lose such and such a pounds by such and such a day, then everything will be different. And then our panic feels more powerful than we are. So we buy into the false ideas of the mass media that they sell us, that the pharmaceutical industry sell us, that the weight loss industry sells us. All of it, we buy into all of it. And the panic comes because we want to deny what we don't want to talk about, that our struggle with weight isn't actually about weight. When we panic about weight, what we really want is to be able to be ourselves. We want to be just okay the way that we are. And the panic allows us to focus on something besides feeling that we don't feel that we're good enough. And that is really, that's really the basis, the foundation of all of it. We just don't feel good enough. Losing weight, we tell ourselves, will finally be worthy of happiness, success, love, anything that we feel is missing from our lives. That's why we panic, is because we just don't feel worthy or good enough. And that's a big feeling. So guess what? We're going to tap on it. Big feeling. You've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. So try approving of yourself and see what happens. Louise Hay. She's a great lady. And yeah, it hasn't worked. What you've been doing for years and years and years hasn't worked. So try approving of yourself and see what happens. The first trigger that triggers our panic is the mirror. So many women experience powerful shifts in their emotional state and self-perception while tapping in front of the mirror. And so you're part of your journey in doing this is that we're going to tap in front of the mirror. It can also, at first, it can be scary facing your reflection while tapping. The mirror has likely become your nemesis and the enemy that exposes your most humiliating flaws. You give yourself no mercy and think and say things to yourself in the mirror that you would never say to someone you love. Girls, get ready for the tears because it's going to happen. And that's good because you're releasing those emotions finally so that they have no more power over you. Okay. What is your relationship with the mirror? You can put it in the comments or you can keep it to yourself. My relationship with the mirror is I walk past it as fast as I can. I try not to look at it too hard. And because I don't want to be critical of myself. So I've tried to not give the mirror too much power, but in not giving it power, I actually have probably given it some power. So yeah, there you go. You're probably going to learn more about me than you really want to, but that's okay. The scale. So here's the thing, and here's what I want you to do today. Go weigh yourself. Go weigh yourself, get it over with. But once you begin this journey, you need to put your scale away. Sadly, the scale has become our own private addiction and one that we can't give up. And the scale has become a number that equates our worth. And we know it's not true to measure a true measure of our own worth, but it's become that. It's a huge trigger. So I'm going to ask you to put it away, and we're not going to look at it at all for the next month. After that, you can look. Try not to cheat, but yeah, give it up. How can we change our relationship with the scale? So one way is to take its power away, and like she said, not be addicted to looking at it all the time. Yeah. Calm and confident isn't a number on the scale. Let me say that again. Calm and confident isn't a number on the scale. So, and isn't being calm and confident more important than how much you weigh? I think it is. So, by taking away the power of the scale and the mirror, we're going to kind of relearn how to trust our body and just say, you know, I'm more important than that. I'm more important than what I see in the mirror. I'm more important than what the numbers say on the scale, because the scale and the mirror become these little dictators that have all this power over our lives and take our happiness away. So we've forgotten how to trust our body and our inner knowing, and instead we opt to use tools outside of us instead of inside. So put the scale away, cover up the mirror if you need to. I mean, some of it you're going to need to like tap in the mirror, but or it's going to give us an opportunity to learn to trust our body again. So let's tap on it. Our inner guidance comes to us first through our feelings and body wisdom, and not through intellectual understanding. Power of patience. When we get trapped in a pattern of panic, that's a sign that we need to find ways to love and accept ourselves in the moment. When we learn to do that, we experience more happiness and joy in our daily lives. The outcome is that we also grow more patient with the process. We relax and allow the process to work because we feel better. In this way, weight loss becomes more healthy and sustainable. And when we fall in love with the journey, then we can move easily. Then we can more easily move towards our dreams and celebrate every step forward. So we're going to learn to get real patient with this too. All right, we're at the Q&A portion, and I'm going to skip through this book because we need to do a tapping session. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do two of these. Also, I'm going to give you an opportunity. If you found value in this presentation and you'd wish to donate to me, there's my Venmo. So you can send me a few bucks if you feel like it. Don't feel like you have to. It's not a mandatory. But there it is. And I'm going to close this. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. There I am. Complete. Stopped. Okay. There we go. All right. So we're going to tap on the mirror. So we're going to start with the karate chop point. Even though I feel panic. Oh, wait. We all have stress with the mirror. So let's do a SUDS. That's the scale. Everyone needs to pick a number between 1 and 10, 10 being the most distress, and 1 being the least amount of distress. So when you think about looking at yourself in the mirror, how much distress does that bring you? I'm going to say 7. That brings me about a 7. So pick a number, and we're going to start with the karate chop point. Even though I feel panic as I harshly judge my image in the mirror, I love and accept myself. Even though I feel panic as I harshly judge my image in the mirror, I love and accept myself. Even though looking in the mirror causes me panic, I love and accept myself. So let's go around the tapping points. Because I don't have my glasses on, it's be harder to read. That's okay. I notice everything I don't like. Oops, eyebrow. I notice everything I don't like. I'm standing in front of the mirror, in front of my harshest critic. There's no way to feel happy with this image. How did I let myself get like this? All these emotions I face in front of the mirror. I allow myself to give them voice. This feeling of panic, rejecting the person I am in the mirror. So this is one that you will want to do while standing in front of the mirror. And it's on page 44 of the book, so you can find it easily. So the key is to give a conscious voice to the words that you would say to your reflection in the mirror as you do the tapping. And when you feel like you can say those words without feeling like they are completely true, then you move on to the positive. So you're going to tap through the negative until you start to feel like they're not real. They're not really true. So here's the other side of that, the positive side of that, where you can go, I've been so hard on you. You deserve more than this. Oh my gosh, here comes the tears. You don't need to do anything to deserve love. I love you now. I choose to appreciate you and all that you do. I choose to speak kindly to you. I love you, my body. I love you. I promise to take steps to express to you all the love you deserve. So now, take a deep breath and check in with how you feel. Measure the intensity again. That was intense. That was I could feel that. Could you feel that? For an extended tapping script on this topic, you can go to the tappingsolutions.com chapter 3 and find that there. So I hope that you felt something in doing that tapping script with the mirror. There's also one for the scale. I encourage you to do that. On the website where this video is going to be at deborahdahl.com, and look under the book club and go to the Tapping Solutions book and open that page, and you'll see the assignments. All the assignments are there for the tapping that you need to do this week, and extra resources are there. I've added a lot of different things. There's an emotion wheel, and there's a list of emotions to help you get started. If you have any questions at all, be sure and send me a message. You can message me